Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to The Box. This is the interior of our 2013 Mitsubishi Fuso FG that I'm turning into an Overland camper. Last week I built the upright for the seat box in the front end, and while you weren't looking, I built the one on the other side. What I'm going to put together today, while starting out with T-slot extrusion, should end up with a completely different look in the front end of the truck. Stick around. What I'm going to start with today is the center section, which is our vertical cabinet. Now this is going to be where our dinette table folds down from. It's also going to be the support for a shelf that runs across the top, which itself is going to be supporting these shelves that get mounted above the seats. And of course, this is going to involve more T-slot extrusion along with more printed parts. So I've printed a whole batch more of the corner brackets, more of the nut slugs, and the good news is I discovered why the nut slugs weren't fitting properly. It was just a setting in my print file, so these ones should fit much more easily. I've also restocked my 1/4-20 fasteners that I use with the nut slugs. So inserting all of the nut slugs is step one, and I know I said I wasn't going to make a video about putting in nut slugs, but I am going to show you how these are supposed to fit compared to how they were fitting last time. Insert it in the end and push it in. No hammer required. That is how they were originally designed to fit. And with the nut slugs slid into place, the corner gussets pre-bolted, and the corner pieces pre-assembled, now I can start putting everything together. The first pieces to go in are going to be the verticals for the back of the cabinet. This is going to be pretty straightforward to put in because I've already got the nut slugs in this piece from when I assembled this to the rest of the frame. I'm just going to leave these pretty loose right now because I do need to be able to make adjustments to this to get it in exactly the right spot, because the width of this cabinet from the inside edge to the inside edge needs to exactly match the width of our butcher block. It may seem a little strange to make a cabinet width match a countertop width, but the reason is our fold down dinette table is going to be made of the same butcher block. You may also notice that I've got two nut slugs partway up here, and they'll be adjusted a little bit later when we mount the inverter, and there'll be a crossbar so that the lower end of the inverter can mount to this one and the upper end of the inverter can mount here. And all of this is going to be hidden inside the cabinet. Again, just leaving this loose now so I can make the final adjustments when everything is in place. Next, I can mount the front two supports, which are essentially identical. They also have two nut slugs in here, but clearly not for holding a bar to hold the inverter. These will be adjusted to the height of the base of the table so it can help support where the table folds down. Same idea here. Need these to be 26 inches apart. In fact, these ones are a little more critical to be 26 inches apart. So we'll wait until we get everything in, just to make sure nothing needs to be adjusted. Not only do they need to be 26 inches apart, they need to be 26 inches apart and centered on this space. If this is your first time seeing any of this kind of construction, yes, this whole interior, other than the kitchen, is assembled using T-slot extrusion and 3D printed parts. And if you want to assemble something in this manner, save yourself the time of designing the 3D parts. Check out the links in the video description where you can download the ones that I've already designed. The four main support legs for the center cabinet are now loosely in place, so that means it's time to put together the top. Now, unfortunately, I didn't quite count properly the number of nut slugs that I was going to need to assemble this. But fortunately, I realized this a couple of hours ago. I ran inside and hit print, so now I do have enough. It is so handy being able to just print parts when you need them. The top shelf that goes across the top up here is pretty long and skinny. It's also really wide because it's the full width, which makes it difficult to get into place. So I basically have two options for getting it in place. One, I can put each piece there and assemble it in place, or I can pre-assemble it and then place it. Now, putting each piece in at a time is going to be easier because of the size of them, but pre-assembly is going to be easier to do on the floor. I think I'm going to do it down there. The more stuff I get built in here, the harder and harder it gets to maneuver these larger pieces around in here, but hopefully soon there won't be any large pieces to move around. Well, let's see how difficult this ends up being getting into place. I've also got to make sure I get it in the right way around because that's the wrong way around. Though it is properly a rectangle, because of the corner pieces I've used, it's not exactly symmetrical, which means it's got to go that way, but I have to actually get this side in first because I can't get past this wall. Which means I need to get that over there. And hopefully I can't turn it into place flat because the corners would hit. And the last thing I need to do is actually unplug the lights to get them on the other side. Now we can roughly connect all the legs, and there we go. Before I can really tighten any of this down, I really need to spend a lot of time making sure they're exactly the right width apart, they're perfectly parallel, and they're completely square top and bottom, because that's going to be the key to this folding table working properly. So now I'm going to cut to a shot of cutting up some plywood, which may seem a bit of a strange direction to go in the context of this video, but this sheet of plywood is key to the transformation of the interior. As much as I've wanted to avoid wood in this build, there are some areas where, at least for now, I'm comfortable using it. Can you figure out what it's for? Let me help out. Let's cut back to a shot inside the camper where you can see that it's going to be the bases for the seats. Now I've also cut pieces for the backrests so we have something to lean against. And now we can really start to see what this is going to look like. But it's not looking very comfortable, so let's cut to a shot with some cushions. Now it's starting to look like something. And it passes the sit test perfectly? Yeah?
Yep.
No, not quite. It's close, but I'm gonna need to make a couple of changes to make things a bit more comfortable up there. The seat backs need to be a little bit farther back from the front edge of the cushion. Somewhat of an easy fix. I just need to disassemble this frame section here, shorten these pieces, and then reassemble it as a shorter section. That will push the seat back farther in, exposing the rest of the base cushion. The rest of it, though, is lining up just right. The space above this cabinet will be just the right size for our mini split air conditioner. The outside edge is just in the right spot to support the last cupboard that will go over top of the seat bench. And the space that's left between the cupboard that goes here and the air conditioner that goes here will give us a little bit of extra storage. With that said, this is as far as I'm going to get today, so I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already, check out the links in the video description, but most importantly, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.